Hello, Chaturi.
Yes, Bhante. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you ask me questions now?
Yes. I don't see a question in the chat, but I have a question. Yesterday, you talked about the useless reflection, the useless questions. And my question is, how do we know when we practice the reflection on Dhamma Vichaya, if we are on the right track? For example, I'm a scientist, so I ask myself a lot of questions about the universe and those kind of things. So I'm wondering, how do we know if our reflection is on the right track? Can you give some advice about this?
Yes, our investigation is in the right path when we know that we are getting right answers, meaning we want to, first we have to understand why we want to ask questions. We ask questions in order to get answers which help us to purify our mind, overcome sorrow, lamentation, and overcome suffering, to be on the Noble Eightfold Path and attain Nibbana. These are the 5 purposes of mindfulness practice. Now, when we ask questions, these are things we have to keep in mind. Why I ask this question, that is with clear comprehension. And what is my purpose? And is this answer or this question I am asking going to help me to fulfill my purposes? And then you know that you are in right track, asking right questions, and practicing Dhamma rightly.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question that we have on the chat is, could you please talk about heaven and hell, and if they exist, where do they exist? Heaven and hell like in the Buddhist cosmology, where do heaven and hell exist?
Okay. Heaven and hell, it's not possible for persons like us to pinpoint and locate, because our knowledge of them is limited. In fact, we don't have much information, verifiable information with us. But we have to believe the Buddha. Buddha said when he sees the mind of certain individuals, then he knows this person, if he follows this path that he has been following, will definitely be reborn in a hellish condition. On the other hand, when he see someone following certain path, and Buddha said, if this person continues to follow this path, definitely soon after that, he will be reborn in heavenly conditions. Kaya sabheda parang marana. Apayan dugati vinipatya nirayam upajati o kaya sabheda parang marana sugati saggan lokam upajati. These are 2 phrases or sentences Buddha very frequently used in reference to hell and heaven. That means if Buddha, it is just like somebody, there are 2 houses, and you can see somebody going from one house to the other. When you look, have a very bird eye view, looking from a top. In this case, you go to helicopter or airplane and go to the top of a mountain and see somebody is following a certain path, then you can see the person is going to this house. If another person is following a certain path, you can see that person is going to this house. Like that, with his supernormal power, Buddha said, if this fellow is killing, stealing, committing sexual misconduct, lying, slanderous, and all these unwholesome things he commits, and therefore this person, after death, will be reborn and avansiro patati. He will fall in the hell head down. There's no escape when you fall your head down. So, on the other hand, if somebody abstains from all these things and does not encourage anybody to do these things, live very honest life, life with metta, karuna, mudita, upekka, with these four brahmaviharas, and practicing mindfulness and so on, after that this fellow will be reborn in heaven. And that is what Buddha said by seeing with his supernatural eyes. And that's what we have to believe. Otherwise, there is no way to say where heaven is, where hell is, because we don't have that knowledge. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, can you talk about the connection between Sila and Samadhi? Does one precede the other, or are they developed simultaneously? Sila and
Actually,
Samadhi.
these are very important factors and also good question. Connection between Sila and Samadhi is very close, as Sila is the foundation. Based on that foundation, you practice meditation. For instance, you want to attain jhana, concentration, samadhi. When you practice that meditation to attain jhanas or samadhi, you will come across a moment of remorse, restlessness, and worry. When you trace the root of your restlessness and worry, you will see you have broken certain moral principles, and then you feel guilty, and therefore your mind will not stay on concentration. So you see, then you decide, I will never commit this kind of unwholesome things in future or from now on, and then you make a fresh beginning, and then you keep practicing without breaking the 5 precepts. If you observe, the 5 precepts are very basic principles which existed long before even the Buddha came into existence. In ancient Indian society, there were people who practiced jhana and gained samadhi and so on, because they themselves had these principles. They followed them very, very meticulously and without breaking any, and then they attained the concentration, the jhanas. Similarly, anytime you practice jhana to gain concentration, if your moral practice is poor, with a lot of loopholes, equal achid, dubala, and so forth, there are holes and weak, then you cannot gain concentration. When you gain when you have good moral principles, you have full self-confidence and you trust yourself, you will be very happy. That helps you to gain concentration. Therefore, these two go very close. They are very closely connected. Your next question is, does one precept precede the other, or are they developed together? Uh, well, simultaneously, yes. However, I also must say that if you wait, all your moral principles are perfectly clear, they all are perfect, and to practice meditation, to gain concentration, you will never meditate, never gain concentration. It is just like going to a seashore and wait for the sea to become calm for you to swim. You will never swim because the sea never becomes calm. And therefore, you straight away start where you are, as you are, and then you gradually begin to see your loopholes, and then you let go one of them one by one and observe principles, Sila. Then, as you observe, according to the strength of your Sila, you gain concentration. So, I think uh, you, in this way, as you gain concentration, you give up your moral principle, immoral practices, or when you practice moral principles first and then practice concentration. Either way can work, but you have to have a firm commitment, determination to practice concentration without breaking principle, moral principle. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is kind of a follow-up on the question I asked. I think you addressed it. I can just read it to you nonetheless. Yesterday's teaching spoke about not focusing on things like, is there a soul and eternalism? How can I relate this teaching on how to focus on the wrong things in my daily life, about of thinking, speaking, and acting? You answered this at the beginning of this session. How
Could you repeat the question again?
Yes, yesterday's teaching spoke about not focusing on wrong things, like, is there a soul and eternalism? How can I relate this teaching to how I focus on the wrong things in my daily life, like thinking, speaking, and acting? So how do I relate this teaching on not focusing on the wrong things in my daily life when I think, speak, and act? So the teaching was not focusing on, is there a soul, eternalism, namely the wrong kind of question. And the question is, how do I relate this to my daily life?
Well, when you keep yesterday's talk was on futility of asking these questions. The Buddha said, don't think of those questions. Don't spend your time on these things. You will never find a satisfactory solution. Even if you find an answer to all these questions, it will not help you to get rid of your suffering. And therefore completely forget them and focus your mind on what you are now, this moment. This moment, you certainly have suffering. And then you must focus your mind on getting rid of that suffering and find out, why do I suffer? What is my suffering? You may ask, yourself, whenever you stop anytime and ask yourself, am I happy? Your answer will always be not yet. There always is something nagging your mind. Even you sometimes don't know what it is, but there is something lacking in your life, and you try to find it out. That way you go through a lot of pain and suffering. In addition, you all know that we are getting old, that is suffering. We fall sick, that is suffering. We separate from our loved ones, that is suffering. We live with unloved ones, that is suffering. And not to get what we want is suffering. To get what we don't want is suffering. And there are all kinds of suffering all around us. And these are all due to our own desire, greed. And therefore we learn to be content. We learn to be let go of our unnecessary things. In your priority list, you must let go of least important things and then keep more important things, and that way you can have some time to practice your meditation and to reduce your desire, which is the cause of suffering. And that is the Buddha's advice that we repeated many times. But if you were to think of all kind of things other than that, of course, sometimes you are working in a certain place, an organization, like a place like NASA, where you always focus your mind on the outer world, about this world, looking into various aspects of the universe. You just have to do it as a job. But when you come home, don't think of those things. You try to understand your own personal uh, problems and try to get rid of them. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, if you're born in a realm where you have no body, so you have no ears, no eyes, and no such sense organs, could you still learn Dhamma?
Well, if you don't have any self organs, six senses, how can you learn Dhamma? You have to have a mind to think, and you have to have a mind to concentrate. You have to have the mind to see what is going on. Even if you suppose you don't have eyes, of course, to that extent, you cannot see any object. When you cannot hear and so on, when you don't have any of these faculties, then you are very much like inanimate object, like a rock, which we don't consider to be a living being that is suffering. It is just a vegetable. There are sometimes situations where some individual may have this kind of situations, but they cannot learn Dhamma. And that is why this is called one of the 8 unfortunate situations, dukkha dukkana, atta dukkana. So, of course, when you don't have any senses, you cannot learn Dhamma.
What about beings that are born in Rupa Loka? In Rupa Loka, what kind of beings are born? They're like devas. Do they have in Rupa Loka? They don't have sensual desire. Could they still learn Dhamma?
Say it again.
In Rupa Loka. Rupa Loka?
Rupaloka.
Yeah. Could they still learn Dhamma?
Now, they don't, Rupaloka is human life, and also when you attain jhanas, you will be, if you die with this jhanic state, you will be born in Rupaloka, and then Rupi Brahmas, if they focus their mind on impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, selflessness, they can learn Dhamma, they can practice Dhamma.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante. The next question is voluntary muscle action, such as heartbeat, does it involve the mind? And also reflective action, are they mind-driven? So like automatic body functioning, like heartbeat, does this involve mind? Does your heartbeat, that's not volition, does this involve the mind?
Where is that question?
Involuntary muscle action, such as heartbeat, does this involve the mind?
It was not very clear to me, Chaturi. Could you repeat it?
Okay. The body has automatic functions like heartbeat, the heart beating. Does this involve the mind?
Heartbeat, yeah. Okay. Heartbeat is almost automatic. We don't think about it. For instance, when we sleep, in sleep we don't think about the heart. Or even if we are unconscious, heart still beats. And therefore mind does not involve in them, in the heartbeat. It can happen, it happens all the time to keep us alive, to circulate our blood and oxygen. Whether we are conscious or unconscious, that function is taking place all the time until heart and brain stop functioning. Okay?
Thank you. The next question is, Bhante, what part does volition play in meditation? So volition, what part does it play in meditation? Sometimes I feel like there has to be a consistent volition to concentrate and to try to stop unwanted thoughts. Is that right effort, or is the effort to let things be?
It is right effort and right mindfulness and right concentration. All these three factors are involved in meditation because we don't want to become lazy. We have to, and actually these three factors belong to concentration category. Right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. And these three factors are in right concentration category. And therefore, you have to have intention to make right effort. You have to have intention to uh, focus your mind on the right on the object. You have to have intention to practice mindfulness, and therefore these three factors involved in the practice of meditation, and all this we do with intention. That is why meditation becomes a karma, wholesome karma, punyabhi sankhara, collecting wholesome karma. Karma definitely must have intention as the root. And as we have heard so many times, the thought is karma, chetana bhikkhave kammang vadami. This sentence most Buddhists know by heart. That is, thought is karma, said the Buddha. And therefore, in meditation, thought is absolutely necessary, or intention is absolutely necessary to make it a very good karma.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, dear Bhante, do you have any advice for remote Mexican followers of yours whose monthly uposatha is today? What's your advice to practice uposatha, Bhante?
What advice do I have for what?
Practicing uposatha.
Practicing uposatha, yes. I think I very much encourage people to do that, because they can abstain from certain sensual pleasures when they observe uposatha. And that gives them a discipline. For this reason, and also to give some rest to the body and mind, uh, disciplining themselves, resting, giving rest to the body and mind, making life more healthy, both body and mind. Upasana observance is very good. And they can practice uposatha not only full moon day or new moon days, since this society, modern society, is not, their weekly activities are not scheduled according to lunar calendar, and therefore they don't have to worry about full moon or new moon. I advise people to observe uposatha, although the word we use, the uposatha, what we need is the practice. Practice is more important. So, if we cannot observe uposatha full moon day and new moon day, that uposatha precept one can practice on another day like weekend. Any day, any other day, the person choose to observe them. I think I encourage people to do that if they can. For at that time they have more time to meditate, more time to restrain, more time to recuperate their stress and so on. Uh, Discipline to have more calm and peaceful time, make the life more healthy. I think therefore uposatha practice is, I encourage people to do even today in this uh, busy technologically advanced society.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, Jaturi, I think uh, that's all time we have for this morning session. I like to spend some time in meditation, our meditation sometimes gets, slide down. So I like to spend sometimes in meditation. Okay.
Okay, Bhante. We can save the other questions for next time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where is that? I try to figure out. Where is that?
Are you able to share the screen, Bhante?
I'm trying to make it. Okay. Okay, let us where is this? I'm trying to figure out how to expand this. Okay, now
Try Control L, Bhante, but it's fine. We can see it.
I want to make it this meta recital in full screen.
Try Control L.
Can you try it?
Use Control L on your keyboard. Does that work?
I see. Okay. Anyway, people can see the screen now.
We can see it fine, Bhante.
Okay.
All right.
I was trying to make it full screen, but I don't know. Anyway, may all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Okay, with this metta thought, let us do some meditation. By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. Be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, friends, this is the end of this morning session. And I want to share my metta thoughts with all beings, especially those who are in hospital suffering from various diseases and taken care of by very compassionate doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs. May they be relieved from suffering and be free from suffering and attain Nibbana. May all the doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs who are taking care of them and risking their own life and sacrificing their comfort, may they all find peace and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in various trouble spots, war zones, discriminations, poverty-stricken area, may they be free from those situations and find peace and try to meditate and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all those who have been participating in these sessions may find peace, happiness, and comfort, practice meditation, practice Dhamma, and liberate themselves from all samsaric suffering. And thank you, friends, for joining us. We see you again. Some of you join us this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and others who cannot can join us next Saturday. Okay? Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu,
Thiruvon
sadhu,
Saranai.
sadhu,
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Up to you.
Okay.